Teaching number 26. Disciples, after listening to my teaching and judging your past in the light of my word, spiritually you have said, the leaf of the tree does not move without the will of God. You think so because you are beginning to understand that the trials that you are enduring, like a bitter cup, have been like steps that have brought you closer to the tree of life, where the Master awaits you to give you your inheritance. When you have arrived before the manifestation of my word, all of you have wondered what would be the cause of my return, and upon hearing my greeting that says, "My peace be with you," those of you who know how to recognize the value of that peace, you are filled with joy, while those of you who only think about acquiring material goods, with disappointment you ask me in your hearts if I have only come to offer you peace. Those who think like this do not offend me, because their misunderstanding comes from their ignorance, and this is precisely the darkness that I have come to fight by illuminating the spirits with the light of my doctrine. Hearts today are hardened by the passions and vicissitudes that have embittered your lives. Understand that you will achieve peace when you have attained spiritual elevation. Peace in the Spirit speaks to you of light, of morality, of virtues. He who does not yearn to reach that state of elevation should not dream of enjoying my peace, for he is still captive to the passions of matter and the false visions of happiness that the material world presents to him. He who cherishes within himself a fervent desire for peace, weary of material pleasures, is the one who seeks the liberation of his spirit, eager to achieve the end for which he was created. Since the beginning of humanity, few have sought peace or remained in it once they had attained it, because humankind only seeks it when suffering has overcome them. That is why you see how, after each of your inhuman, fratricidal, and unjust wars, thousands of people rise up, thirsting for peace, which they previously failed to appreciate because they had not realized the value of this divine gift. You must understand that you will not find tranquility in human knowledge, since the source from which it comes is spiritual. Gold, human wisdom, science, the power of mankind, have not been enough to obtain that grace that you will only achieve by practicing good works, leading yourselves in your life along the path of love that my law points out to you. It will not be surprising that people, whom humanity considers wise, when they come in search of my revelations and in search of my peace, take the place of infants to study the first lessons of the Book of Life. No one knows better than I the infinite thirst that exists among humanity. My compassion as a ray of hope penetrates every heart so that through the struggle you feel closer to achieving true peace and liberation of the spirit. My teaching is the call of the celestial trumpet, which has been heard by the spirits to whom it announces that the time has come for judgment, for atonement, and also for salvation. Everything had been prophesied, but you preferred to wait for the events without preparing yourselves. You lacked faith, obedience to my law of love, and today you find yourself crying in your guilt. The multitudes that gather to listen to my divine lessons seem great to you in their number, but how small they are if you compare them to your brothers and sisters who are without my peace. In these multitudes I have placed my peace. Some have known how to preserve it, others, as soon as they stop hearing my word and enter the routine of life, they divest themselves of it. They are the ones who, upon returning to the humble place where I manifest myself, ask me, "Lord, why is it that only when I am listening to you do I find peace? Does it exist only in these places?" And I answer them that if they have only found peace when listening to my doctrine, it is because it is only at that moment that they cleanse their spirit of the influence of matter, and when they cross the threshold of these enclosures, they return to their lives of imperfections, selfishness, passions, grudges and vices, without putting into practice the precepts of the doctrine that they were listening to, because listening does not mean learning, and only those who analyze and put my doctrine into practice, will be the ones who can truly be called my disciples, because they will always be prepared spiritually to lead their brothers and sisters by setting an example of guiding their lives in the fulfillment of my teachings. In this lecture you will find the knowledge of the moral responsibility that you have contracted, for receiving in your heart the gift of my peace, which you will have to share with your brothers and sisters. Understand and analyze how many times I have told you, "Welcome to the humble enclosure converted into a house of peace and prayer where I manifest myself as Master." Through my word you have understood your mission and the restitution that weighs upon your spirit. Today you recognize that in order to reach me, it is necessary to reach the purity that makes you worthy of entering the mansion of the righteous, which is the promised land for your spirit. Not everyone who listens to me is with me, because some are distant in thought. On the other hand, there are those who are distant in material terms but present in spirit. If you knock on my doors, I have also come to yours, not to ask of you but to give you what you need. I come to give light to your spirit because I see that it does not want to continue in darkness, it wants to rise above ignorance and the passions of matter, it wants to contemplate and understand the Father by knowing the purpose of its own existence. Wake up, realize the time in which you live, so that when the time comes when people rise up profaning and erasing all worship from the human heart, they will have nothing to take from you, because your sanctuary and your worship will be spiritual. Then your spirit will know how to communicate directly with my divinity, that will be your liberation. You live in a world transformed by human science, this is its era, it is the time of its reign. People have built a new Babel, a new tower of pride and vanity. From their height they defy my power and humiliate the weak. Truly I tell you, that by this path mankind will not reach me, not because I am ignorant of science, for it is light that I, the Creator, have placed in the human mind, but because of the misuse that people have made of it. I entrusted science to you like a tree that you should cultivate with love, respect and zeal so that the fruits of the best flavor sprout from it, those that give life. Do you think you have cultivated that tree well? See that its fruits have been destruction and sorrow, that instead of giving life they have sown death. How misguided human science is. Yet despite this, I bless it because it is the work of my children. Materialism has enveloped humanity. My name has been erased from many hearts, people forget to pray, which is the spiritual way of conversing with God. My doctrine and my examples through Jesus have been forgotten, and those who try to persevere in my teachings and comply with my law do so through idolatrous worships, seeking me through forms and images made by human hands. Is this how my law should be fulfilled? Many have made nature their God, deifying it as the creative source of all that exists. But I tell you truly that this nature, from its womb all beings, forces, and material elements that surround you have sprung forth, is not its own creator, it was conceived and formed beforehand by the divine Maker. It is neither the cause nor the reason for life. Only I, your Lord, am the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. The shadow of the tree of human science has enveloped humanity, most of its fruits have poisoned it, and the time is approaching when the righteous sickle comes to cut every impure branch and every bad fruit. When mankind was innocent, his state of purity made him worthy of the Lord's grace. He did not need science to find the means of life, he did not need his eyes or his intelligence to strive to penetrate the secrets of creation to find the light that would illuminate the path of his earthly life. Nature, like a gentle mother, drew her breast to the child's lips to nourish him, but the child grew and, seduced by the outward beauty of the fruits of the tree of life, reached out, picked them, and tasted them, awakening in his heart and throughout his being the need and the thirst for knowledge. The age of innocence fled, and a new stage began for humankind, the age of science, in which the spirit desired to understand human life and its mysteries. There began the struggle, the experience, the development, the evolution, the restoration. The child who found his happiness in feeling his mother's caress, became the adolescent who, full of curiosity and restlessness, marveling at the grandeur of life that was a mystery to him, set out on the roads eager to learn. Who else but I, made mankind feel that ideal of wanting to know and understand? Everything was foreseen and prepared by me to guide the steps of mankind on earth, that is why at each step he found a surprise and a new wonder. There was no stumbling block, need, or sorrow for which he could not find a solution. If mankind had his awakening for the world, also in his spirit, from his restlessness and premonition arose the deep desire to know and contemplate the life that lies beyond material creation, beyond matter and science. This is how the spiritual worship towards God was born, so that through it the spirit could sustain itself and attain higher knowledge, living in accordance with science inspired by my law of love. Not all people have conceived me in the infinite, in the spiritual and invisible realm, that is why since the beginning of humanity, while some have sought me beyond everything material, others have done so through external worships. These are the ones who looked for me in the stars, in the elements and in other creatures until they came to understand that the one who had formed everything they adored was in infinity and he was the one they should worship. From time to time humanity evolved in its beliefs and knowledge of the spiritual, perfecting its worship illuminated by divine inspirations. However, even today many of my children only feel me through forms, rites, images and symbols. The spirit, remaining distracted by traditions, is content with what little it achieves with its low elevation, but the time of restlessness before the mysteries has come for it, experiencing needs and going through trials such as it has never encountered before, then it will awaken and rise to ask questions, to scrutinize as it did when it sought to understand the meaning of life on earth. What do you most long for on earth right now? Peace, health, truth. Truly I tell you that these gifts will not be given to you by your science as you have acquired it. The scholars question nature and she answers each question, but behind those questions there are not always good purposes, good feelings, or charity. People are the little and foolish ones who wrest secrets from the mother and profane her intimacy, not in order to honor her by taking from her sources, the elements to do good to one another, as true brothers and sisters, but for selfish and sometimes perverse ends. All creation speaks to them about me and its voice is one of love, but how few have known how to listen and understand that language. If you consider that the creation is a temple where I dwell, do you not fear that Jesus will appear there wielding a whip and drive out the merchants and those who profane it? O beloved people, analyze and understand my teaching, open your understanding and let my light penetrate it, that light will speak in your works, even if your word is humble. It pleases me that your words are clumsy, because it will be your spirit that bears witness to me. The destiny of each one of you is different, but the end of all is the same, to reach God. Some of you suffer and thereby make amends for your past transgressions against my law, others drink the cup of bitterness because of the evil inflicted upon their brothers and sisters, the former are purifying themselves in the trials of life, the latter will have to drink the same cup they gave to their fellow human beings, but I tell you truly that in both of them the loving and perfect justice of your Lord is manifested. Love one another, comply with my law of love, so that the light of peace and harmony may shine in the East, which is now in the darkness and bitterness of war. Feel the pain of humanity and see how they look for a Savior, like the lost sheep crying out for their shepherd. How much pain burdens humanity in this age. As soon as the children are born they begin to drain the chalice of bitterness because of their brothers and sisters. Some lose their mother before feeling the first caress, others are deafened by the din of war, instead of hearing the sweet maternal lullaby. The paradise of the first generation was turned into a valley of tears and now it is only a valley of blood. That is why today I have come to fulfill the promise that I made to my disciples, I awaken humanity from its slumber, giving it my teachings of love to save it. I seek the spirits destined to rise up in this time to testify of my manifestation and my word with their works. When those chosen by me are gathered around my law, the earth and the stars will be shaken and in the heavens there will be signs, because at that moment the voice of the Lord will be heard from one end of the earth to the other and his divine spirit surrounded by the spirits of the righteous, the prophets and the martyrs, will judge the spiritual and material world. Then the time of the Holy Spirit will reach its fullness. So that you may make this prophecy known to your brothers and sisters, I ask you, when will you rise up to fulfill your mission as the disciples of this time? When will you make your brothers and sisters listen to you and tremble before the voice of their own conscience? When will you bring this word of light and love to humanity? It is my will that you unify yourselves so that in each place and in every congregation there is only one flavor of your fruit. Why should they offer different flavors if they are all branches of the same vine? Study, practice and rise up united so that your strength is respected. Do not allow false manifestations of my divinity to arise within sects or religions, do not be the cause of false prophets rising up, deceiving the multitudes with their words. Beware, seers. If you have been tested by your Father, if your own people have rejected you, do not be afraid, remember that Jesus was unknown in his homeland and had to go to other lands to be believed. No one is a prophet in his own land, he told you. If you have doubted your gifts, hearts will come that truly believe you, some of you will enter foreign lands where you will find more confidence in your testimony than in the bosom of this people. To help you in your mission, the Master has given you his teaching and he never tires of doing so because he is the word of the Father. Beloved disciples, give the healing balm to a sick person, do it with love, with true spiritual preparation, so that you can make the needy person experience divine comfort. On some occasions I have granted true miracles to occur, even though your preparation had not made you worthy of it, but now I tell you that you must not neglect your preparation, because I will surprise you, I will touch you by not granting you what you expect, to make you understand that you do not know how to prepare yourself to deliver a true work of charity. Do not let it be only the sick who, through their suffering, deserve my benefits, you must combine their merits with those of your charity, and in both, my grace will be manifested. Wherever you are, you must make merits so that every time you intercede for your brothers and sisters, you are worthy to ask me for whatever you need, in favor of your fellow human beings. Maintain your spiritual and material preparation, for you do not know when you may need to perform an act of charity, and it will be very pleasing to me to make you custodians of the balm of peace or of whatever your brothers and sisters need most. Understand the beauty of the mission you have come to fulfill in your restoration, so that you may embrace your cross with all the love of which you are capable. Here in the world, you do not perceive the voice of your conscience as clearly as you will hear it when you are in spirit, that is why you will often neglect the fulfillment of your mission. But remember that however far away the date of your departure to the afterlife may be, it will always be waiting for you, and that when you open your eyes in a new realm, only the light you have attained in your struggle will accompany you, and you will possess the peace of which you have earned through the merits you have achieved. Do you know how I want you to arrive at the next dwelling where I await you? Full of peace, illuminated by the light of wisdom, which must shine in every pure spirit, without hesitation, without tears. No one should think that when they came to this world, my work took them by surprise by giving them a mission. No, that would be a sign of profound ignorance for one who lives in the light. I have come only to enable you to recognize once again that which you received in spirit before you were sent to earth. Therefore, beloved disciples, if your spirit has come for this purpose, it is because I have commanded it, and as such, each of you has wanted and accepted it, then know that you must not return to me without having accomplished the mission you promised to complete, because otherwise it would be deeply painful for your spirit. Analyze my word, do not allow anyone or anything to prevent you from fulfilling your mission. Let nothing cause you to renounce all that, as an honor, belongs to those who know how to be soldiers of God in the world, apostles of His truth. To help you in your restitution I am giving you my word, and its light guides you to perfection. Listen tirelessly, learn from me. Listen to Elijah and take the example of his virtue so that you may be, in imitation of him, shepherds of the portion of spirits that my will has destined for you. I look upon all of you with love, and I tell you that at this time I have not only come to caress you and to bestow my peace upon you, but to instruct you, so that you to understand that you are the possessors of spiritual gifts with which you must help humanity in its tribulation, to lead it to its final restoration. The time of great trials has come and the spirit is still weak. Great pains and disturbances await it, and for this reason I approach as a lifeboat, to welcome my children, helping them to evolve on the spiritual path. All spirits have become subject to my justice, even the spirits of children in their mother's arms have felt pain. I am preparing you, my disciples, to carry my doctrine of love and peace to all nations, so that by your adherence to it you may save your brothers and sisters. Approach the humble and the powerful. Many times you will find yourselves before people of science, and before them you must give proof of your spirituality. How many will feel ashamed upon recognizing the uselessness of their material knowledge and will confess that what science could not accomplish in healing and solving the problems that afflict humanity, the love and charity of my disciples has achieved. This little-known nation in the world will be abundant in blessings. Its soil will be fertile and its coffers will overflow, to send food to nations devastated by war. The spirit of the inhabitants inspired by my love, will send thoughts of light to those in need, and when the time for preaching arrives, it will carry my word to give life and healing to those who suffer. Many foreigners will come to join you in your ideals of peace and harmony. Spirituality, as a benevolent seed, will spread and the truth that it preaches will be known. Then the child will know how to love me with purity, and the fountain of grace from which all good springs forth will overflow upon humanity. I want you to fulfill your mission at this stage, and that when you pass to the beyond, you continue your spiritual work. Teach your brothers and sisters that a single law full of justice governs all spirits, that all occupy a place in my creation and each one is encouraged by me in their fulfillment. Everything obeys immutable divine laws. If humanity, during this time of trial, judges you wrongly and holds you responsible for the war of ideas, the destruction of nations, and the lack of peace, do not be afraid or confused, remain praying and watching. Do not fear if you find yourselves fulfilling my law. Understand that I have allowed wars to break out so that the spirit of humanity may be purified. Every nation, institution and home are touched by my justice to reveal the degree of advancement in which they find themselves. Work as I have taught you, regenerate sinners, rebuild lives, bring those who have distanced themselves closer to me. And when this stage has passed, the light of knowledge and experience will be in all spirits, my doctrine will inspire people and there will be no adulterations or misinterpretations of my law. If sometimes I call you children, it is because before my divinity, you are still small, and before eternity your existence is very short. Do you not sometimes place your happiness in trivialities? Do you not sometimes weep for something that should not be the cause of your pain? Truly I tell you, I come not only to look for the poor and the humble, but also for those who have distinguished themselves in the world either for their power or their knowledge. I am making a call to all of you, so that you reach the purification of your spirit. If I made myself known to the poor in the little that they possess, to prepare and awaken them, I will touch those who have accumulated material goods so that they heed my call. Those who are deaf to my voice, I will raise from this world, and in the spiritual valley I will show them the work that they did not know how to accomplish on earth. May this teaching serve as a lesson to you, accumulate merits before you depart from this world, leave consolation, health and peace as a trace of your passage. If you don't, you will weep tomorrow. Your heart must be strengthened to withstand the trials that await you. I have told you that you will suffer persecution and slander, that you will be blamed for the religious confusion that is about to occur, but I will watch over you and bring you through. Remove from your hearts the horror that you might feel for those who suffer from diseases that you call disgusting, and reject the repulsion that you could experience when encountering the murderer or the one who has gone mad in vices. Extend your hand to them, offer them the most heartfelt words. Pray for them. Only I know what is hidden in each one of those lives, only I know the causes of their downfall. Only I can forgive and absolve those who are persecuted and condemned by human justice. I am strengthening your spirit with my word, because there is much that you have yet to experience and feel in your heart. I am sensitizing your feelings that are dulled by your materialism. Yesterday you did not feel the pain of others, but soon your eyes will shed tears for the suffering of your fellow human beings. The lands abound and the farmers are scarce. Be among the farmers who learn to sow this blessed seed. Do it now while you live on earth, so that you may reach the hereafter with merit. My peace be with you.